I'm Madison. I'm going to be hosting today's session. We'll be talking about our Getting Started with Agentic AI series, focusing on quick flows. So this is, again, part 3 of our 4-part session. Next time, we'll be talking about quick research, and we've already covered chat, spaces, and extensions. All right. So the agenda for today is we'll just do a very quick introduction of what Amazon Quick Suite is for those of you who might be hearing about it for the first time. I'll be covering what Quick Flows is, so that'll be just a brief feature overview, and then I'll dive deeper into that into the demo. I'll give you our use case overview. This will be a continuation of our AnyRetail snacks use case. Then I will be starting the demo. So we'll go through 2 different types of flows today. And then I will give you some learning resources. All right, so you might be asking, what is Amazon Quick Suite? So some of you might already know Amazon Quick Site. We have transitioned the name to Amazon Quick Suite, which now encompasses both your Quick Site instances into a more agentic AI product with different features that act as like your agentic AI teammates. So we say that this is your agentic teammates that allow you to quickly answer your questions from your data about your work and help you turn those answers into actions that you can take both within the product and outside. So this allows you to unite both your teams with your agents. It helps you get the right answers at the right time to help you make more, better, and faster decisions. It also allows you to take actions, which we've seen in our previous sessions, within your Quick Suite account from your other third-party applications and invoke actions from Quick Suite into those apps as well. And this also keeps the security that Quick Site has enabled our users by keeping all of your data private and secure. So now I'm going to transition into Amazon Quick Flows. So this is a specific agentic AI capability within our Quick Suite product, which saves our users time on routine, repetitive daily tasks. So what does that look like? A flow allows you to create workflows for everyday tasks using plain text. So this allows you to save time and energy by automating that process for you, which allows you to do other work as that goes in the background. And this is all done with natural language. So as we'll see in the demo, you'll see how I type a flow in plain text, and Quick Suite will take that into step-by-step actions that will be invoked into an automated work stream. All right, and that is a very brief overview, but we'll see later on in the demo how this gets broken down piece by piece and hopefully gives you a better understanding of how this capability is used, because I think it's most powerful and to understanding the product by seeing what it's doing in real time. And so I'm going to move on to the use case now. So if you haven't already attended our previous sessions, I highly recommend seeing that. It's on our YouTube channel. So parts 1 and part 2 basically set up the environment that we'll be continuing today. So we're going to continue with our use case of AnyRetail snacks. And this fictitious company is a health-conscious online snack retailer. They sell 5 products globally, and they've been running since 2023. And so this is going to be a look into their sales and business development department. And so some of you might be familiar with those workflows and those day-to-day work streams. But what that looks like is this department will analyze products from their Quick Site dashboard, and they look at their performance with the regional trends in that area to go ahead and make decision making with grocery store partners or help push products into that area based on the trends that they find. They also manage the partnerships with the grocery store pipeline so that they are able to get products into grocery stores and have special enablement programs to allow products to be sold more widely and test out different marketing schemes. Okay, so this again is a very quick background on what this company is, and then now we'll see how they use Amazon Quick Flows. So I'm just going to run through 2 today during the demo, but to just briefly give you the background on each of the ones we'll be seeing. So this is going to be our first one. The first one is going to be a scheduler. So we're going to create a schedule, and this will be from scratch just by typing in plain text. allowing us to refine and edit the application that's created through quick flows. We'll be able to check the flow and see if it works properly. So this is an important process of the creation point of view where you want to iterate on what's working and making sure that everything is working well before you share it widely with your team. And then at the end, we'll share the flow with relevant team members. All right, and then the second one that we'll be seeing today is going to be directly from a chat. So this is a really interesting use case that we've seen is a lot of the times people are used to typing into chat agents what exactly they're needing. And if that's a repetitive task, you can create a chat or you can create a quick flow straight from your chat. So we'll see how the team does that, and we'll use a previous chat to create an automated work stream of the repetitive task. In this case, it will be a meeting partner scheduler through email. All right, so now I'm going to transition to the demo. All right, so let me go ahead and switch screens here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first one that I'm going to go through is going to be directly from the chat agent. So what I have here on this side pane is going to be our snacks chat agent that we've already set up in a previous quick sweet learning series session. And instead of going directly from a chat question, I'm going to actually go to the conversation history here. So this will be kind of a filter of every type of conversation I've already had with this chat. And I'm going to go to one that I've created earlier today. It's going to be similar to the one that we saw in our extensions demo. But this one, I had asked chat to help me craft a message to a potential grocery store partner on positioning real fuel bars at the end caps to boost sales. So this is similar to a question I've asked in the past, but I was thinking that this is going to be something I'm going to want to ask on a repetitive basis. So it might not be real fuel bars, but something similar. So if I want to have that as a flow, I can go ahead and scroll down here. So we see the answer it gave us, a pretty good summary of what the pitch is. This was using different resources from my own space that we've configured. And then it's given me some interesting metrics. But again, like I said, I want this to be a repetitive flow that instead of having to ask chat every single time to create, I want to make it a little bit of a more automated process. So something that a lot of people don't know about and what I think is really cool is from the chat pane itself, you can kick off a flow creation. So all I have to do is click this flow icon and create a new flow. It will take the summarization of the chat, the answers, and the question that I asked in the beginning to create my own prompt. So here we see that the prompt is generate a flow that takes in a product name and target partner type and outputs a strategic partnership message that includes product performance data, competitive advantages, partnership benefits, marketing support details, and next steps for positioning their product in a retail location using the sales and marketing data available within QuickSuite. That looks great. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate. And as you can see, that was very much just point and click. I didn't have to really change anything. I could have edited the prompt if I wanted to, but I'm just going to see what it generates based off that it's created on its own. So we'll see here now that it's going to generate the flow based off my prompt. And you'll see it gives me step-by-step actions that I'll go ahead and refine and edit to make sure the flow is running properly. So within maybe less than a minute, we see that it's generated this flow here with what it's created out of the box. And so you can see here, there's different types of steps that it's creating. So here are some text inputs. So we have enter product name, and we'll pick from the 5 products that we have. We'll put in the target partner type. So this will be either retail chain, distributor, or seller. And this doesn't exactly match what our company does, so I'll go ahead and edit that box later. We see these 3 steps here that are taking data from our quick site dashboard, and that will be from our AnyRetail snacks data. And then we see here some 4 generative properties. So the first one is using AI to analyze partnership benefits based on the above data. From there, we'll see how it generates marketing support, develops retail positioning strategy, and then at the very end, generating a strategic partnership message. And so again, these 4 are coming from the generative AI features within QuickSuite. Okay, so let's start editing this. Overall, I think this is a really good flow. And so I'm going to see edit, enter product name. This looks good. I'm going to keep this placeholder as is. I'm not going to put a default value because we're going to be switching that up every time we want to use this flow. But this partner type, I do want to edit. So the placeholder, I'm going to just say enter the name of the grocery store. Name of grocery store. And so we'll leave that as is. I'll press save. And then let's see. Let's just review all of these steps just to make sure it's grabbing the right data. So the first one here I see is view product performance dashboard, retrieve the comprehensive product performance for the product name, including sales revenue. That looks good. And then we see it's using quick site dashboards here. I do notice it's not picking up the right dashboard, so I'm going to change this and we're going to make sure that it's using our AnyRetail snacks one. And so let's do this. We'll click save. Good. And then because it said that, I'm going to go through here and pick the correct dashboards again. So here I'm seeing it's not getting the right dashboard, so I'll go ahead and edit that. Again, making them all the same. So I just want to check here, analyze competitive positioning for the product name, including market differentiation, competitive advantages. Okay, that looks good. I'll save that. All right. And then let's change this one as well. So we're going to go ahead and change this to AnyRetail snacks. And let's look at this prompt. So retrieve marketing support data and campaign performance from the product name, including promotional effective marketing ROI, brand awareness. That all looks good. Okay. So I'm glad that we went ahead and looked in there because if I didn't, we would have data from 3 different dashboards that did not align with our company. So definitely make sure to continue to edit and refine the flow. Let's check out this step here. So based on the 2 steps above, analyze and articulate the key partnership benefits with the partner type. Partners when working with product name, include revenue potential, market opportunities. That looks good. Okay, so if you can see here, this is going to help refine the answers that it's going to give us. So we have the source that it's generating from general knowledge, which is going to bootstrap for versatility and performance. You can change any of these sections. The creative level is going to be 2. I think that's fine. We don't want it to be super creative. But what I'm going to make sure it's doing here is pulling out from our space and our QuickSuite data. So I want to go ahead and make sure it's linking to our snack space. So let's find that here. Okay, here we go. These 2 spaces. Okay. But the rest looks good. So I'm going to press save. And then again, I'm going to go into these 2 and then make sure that it's also connected to the space. And then this last step here is generating a strategic partnership message. So this is taking all the above steps and structuring a message with these 7 areas. So executive summary of the opportunity, product performance highlights and data points, competitive advantages and market differentiation, partnership benefits and revenue potential, marketing support package details, retail positioning, and then clear next steps. So it's going to make the message compelling, data-driven, and actionable. This looks really good. I'm going to keep this as general knowledge, and this time I'm not going to add the space. So this will just be purely on the steps above. I'll go ahead and save this. And now the last thing I'm going to do is optional, but I think very helpful, is going to add another step here. And I want to take an action now to send this as an email. So what I'm going to do is use my application actions step here to make sure that it can connect to an email. So I'm going to name this one, we'll add the connector as our Outlook and send email. I can see it. There we go. Send user email. Prompt. Use And then anytime you want to reference an above step, you will use the at sign. So I'm going to say use the develop retail position, no, sorry, the generate marketing partnership message to send an email with the full message and provide a preview before sending. Okay, so this will be Outlook email of partnership message. Keep this consistent here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this step now. Whoop. Okay, perfect. So now I have a completed flow that took a couple minutes here just to edit and refine. And now that we finished editing, I'm going to go ahead and we will now begin to run this. So I'm going to go ahead and click run mode here. And you can see the UI looks a bit differently. So I can either chat within the chat pane here to begin my flow, or I could just type into the flow itself. So as you can see, it's giving me an overview of what this flow will do. This will look exactly like it will once the flow is published. And I'm going to go ahead and put our product name, Real Fuel Bars, because that's what we did before in our chat. And let's just pick I'm just going to make up this grocery store name. So it's going to be any grocer. And let's press start. All right. And so now here we're going to see how it's going to execute each step. And a really important part of this process is keeping that human in the loop aspect. So as these steps generate, you're able to review the output that each step is generating before you fully send the message. So you'll know what all the data is coming from to just dummy check and see if all of the things are accurate. So we can see what's happening within the dashboard steps to make sure it's pulling out the right data. And we can double check with the generation steps if it's pulling out the right AI from our sales documentation with our partners. So first here, we can see the performance dashboard. It was able to grab the current sales performance. As a disclaimer, this data only goes up to June 2025. So we have the real fuel bars section of how it performed. It had a decline in June compared to May, but the sales are still above the average. That's good. We can see the historical trends. It's giving a good market share analysis overview for us. So it's showing that it's a #1 ranking among all products. So that's great. We can use that in hopefully our strategic messaging. It's showing us some regional data. So we see that the Americas has the biggest producing region, which makes sense because as a global company, this one is producing highest for each of the products. We also see some campaign performance. It recognized that these campaigns were associated with real fuel bars. That's great. Showing us pretty good ROI on each of the campaigns. Growth indicators and customer satisfaction. So it said that it was declining this month, which we saw, but it's still the #1. So it doesn't have CSAT scores available, and that's not on the dashboard, so that makes sense. Okay. Then it's giving us further competitive positioning analysis. I won't go through all of this again, but we can kind of see how the above data would have transferred into this competitive analysis. So I'll just skip down to here. The strategic recommendations for the end cap placement based on this analysis is that the pitch should emphasize it's a market-leading sales product for us. It's a premium product with higher margins per unit than other competitors. There's a proven volume driver. That's pretty cool. And it has a strong brand that attracts quality-conscious consumers. And again, this is a health-conscious company, so that may lend into that statement there. All right. And then here, this is going to be more marketing focused. So we can see it's focused on each of the campaigns. I'm not going to really go through them here, but I'll skip to the end where it says key insights for end placement strategy and cap placement strategy. So it's going to show us that we should emphasize strong overall market performance with high sales volume, excellent marketing ROI, showing its effectiveness, the declining trend suggesting opportunity for more strategic placement to reverse the trend, and in AMRs, especially a strong performer, which may inform regional placement priorities. Okay, so that sounds good. So based on that, it's now going to analyze everything from our space, which we can see is going to pull in things from our data as well on our quick site dashboard, but also of our strategic messaging that we've had in our sales documents. So these are coming from, it looks like, both of our documents and online. So we can see this is pulling from a web source here and another web source here. So that looks good. We're showing that it's a differentiated product, and this is pulling from one of our data inside our space. This is also coming from our space. So we have a staff training program and sales incentive that will have in-store sampling kits, promotional flyers, and customer trial coupons, sorry. And this is also coming from our space. And then we can see here what the shelf life will be, promotional support, marketing leadership, and the bottom line for this company. Okay, so that looks good. This part here is our marketing support package. I'm going to just briefly cover this. This is pretty lengthy in terms of wanting to review, but we can see it's point of sale materials, co-op advertising opportunities. So we can see there's marketing investment, in-store promotion for an 8-week promo, some campaigns that we can run based off the ones we've already had, seasonal promotion opportunities, so even giving us little taglines for each of the quarters, specific launch event overview, and training resources. We can also see some investment commitments and ongoing support for infrastructure. Okay, so now that that's all in review, I'm going to go ahead and press continue. So it's going to develop now, taking all of that data into a positioning strategy. And this will hopefully help us refine our message that we want to send to the grocery store partner. So I'm going to go ahead, kicked off that, and it's going to begin aggregating all of that data into our new message. All right, it says the flow has already been fully executed. All steps have been completed successfully. So it's given the product names, quick data analysis, and partnership message development. The only remaining step is the email preparation step, which is currently pending your review. You'll need to review and complete the email form to send your strategic partnership message to any grocer partners. Okay, so let's go ahead, and it asks me here, would you like to proceed with reviewing the email to send this partnership proposal? Let's say yes. Let's review the email. All right. And now it's going to kick off this review. It looks like this step was still stuck here, so we'll see how it processes that. But we should be on this generate strategic partnership and Outlook email step. So that might be a bug, but we'll see how this goes. All right. So this one is still generating. So we're going to just wait a couple more minutes here to see if this finishes executing. If we get a bug, we'll go ahead and move on to the other flow just for time. But hopefully this will finish up. All right, cool. Okay. So here it's already been generating. I see this output, and now I'm going to send this user. So all I have to do is specify who I want to send it to. I'm going to send it to myself. I'm going to send this to myself. It's given me a subject. It's put this in HTML. And at this point, from the questions that were asked in chat, this is where you can edit what's going to be sent in the email. So this is looking like HTML formatting, so it can get specific headers and paragraphs. But you can see kind of here where it's putting in the actual content. We can review this. I'm not going to, just for time reasons, but it's a pretty lengthy document combining everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and press send. And we can see here that this is verifying that my action is submitted. This is going to send now to my Outlook page, and then we'll get a confirmation of when that's sent. And then I'm just going to note the time here. So it's 10:45 local time, and I'm going to check my Outlook email. So I got a ping that I did here through my Outlook. And now let's see, I'm going to switch tabs here. And we can see that at 10:43 a.m., it sent me this email. So this looks really good. The formatting is pretty interesting. We can see here that it's put different heading sizers, bolding on some of the things, and giving me the exact summary that we've looked for. So it did the part one, which is the executive summary, the performance highlights, the competitive advantages, partnership benefits, marketing support, the positioning strategy, and then clear next steps. So giving me a week by week breakdown of what I'm going to send to partners. So I think this looks pretty good. I think if I were to iterate this flow, I would have made the email part shorter and more succinct, maybe even a more paragraph style. But I think this is a really interesting email. So that looks good. So that's one way you can do a flow. If you have any questions on that, please ask. But I'm going to now move on to our other flow. And this will be going straight from scratch. So we just saw that you can do it from a chat instance. But now we're going to see how you can do it from your flow creation point. So in this example, let me go ahead and switch tabs here. And now I'm going to create a new flow. So I already have a prompt that I want to use. This prompt is going to help us, if I was on a sales org, be able to schedule my teammates weekly updates to their Outlook calendar. And so what I'm going to do is put in my prompt. It says create an email flow that sends weekly emails to a person for a 2-hour block of their sales team update weekly on the given date specified in the sheet I provide. So the name should have this tied to it, which is going to be our email domain for this. It's going to have this specific message saying, hi, reminder, it's your turn to send the team your monthly pipeline updates. Respond to this email thread with your updates for our tracking records. Thank you, and then my name. And so just with that, I'm going to generate the flow again. So I just used plain text. And similarly, Quick Suite is going to take what I've just typed or copy and pasted and then put it into step-by-step formats. So what I'm looking for here is it's going to be able to pick up the part where I upload a file of our schedule, create a formatted email, and then at the end be able to schedule those calendar blocks in Outlook. All right, and then we see here we have this banner, which is great, that this is going to be a schedule that needs attention before I activate it. So that looks good. I'm not going to do this yet, but I'm going to just go ahead and press X. And then we see here, the first thing it got was upload the team schedule. That's great. I'm seeing that it's generating this generative step, which is process the schedule data. So it's extracting the team member alias and their assigned dates from the upload schedule step, and then formatting each entry with the alias and corresponding date. That looks good. In this step, I don't need to use any quick suite data. I don't need to use any web search. All I need is the general knowledge. So that all looks good. Then we see here, this little light bulb means this is a reasoning step. So this is going to take these 2 steps within it and going to make sure that it reasons those correctly so that can create an action. So let's start with this embedded step here, format email address. So this is good. It's taking the alias from that scheduled data step, formatting it as a complete email by adding this domain to it. And this is a fictitious domain again, so I might have to edit that in the email step because we want to see how that looks like. But again, none of these need any quick suite data or web search, so I'm going to keep this all the same. And then here we see that it's going to send a weekly reminder email. For the purpose of this, I have it still as the Amazon Outlook so that we are able to see it. But it's going to send the user email with the formatted little reminder that I've put into the prompt. That all looks good. And I like this little subject it's put here. It says the subject, sales team update weekly, your turn. That's great. And then it's going to show here that it's scheduling this email to be sent on the date specified for this process schedule data in the original schedule for a 2-hour block. Okay. And then it's going to repeat for each of the people in the schedule in a loop. All right. So I'm seeing here, I thought that maybe there would be another step for scheduling a calendar invite, but instead of doing a send user email, let's instead make this a calendar view. So let's do create calendar event. And instead, hopefully, this won't just do an email, it'll also put something on the calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and update this. And we'll make this suddenly weekly reminder calendar event and save this. Okay, so I think I'm done editing this. So I'm going to go ahead and enter run mode. Okay, so I'm just going to upload my file. We're going to use in my data set, I have already put in the sales schedule. This consists of just 4 columns. It says the schedule type, which is on call, the POC, which is the alias, the date, which will be the date the calendar block is for, and then the duration. And then let's go ahead and press start. So from here, we see QuickFlows is processing the request and executing our next step, which is that process schedule data. We see a brief summary. Again, these are all fictitious, but the first one is myself. So we see the dates, which all look good. And then it says that all entries are on schedule types with 120-minute durations, which will be used to inform the calendar event creation. And then pretty quickly, we see this next reasoning step being executed. So it will continue to add more calendar events as this loops. So the first 2 are generated already. This is how it's going to format the email address, which looks pretty good. It says that this is what it's done in the background. Based on the provided info, it extracted the alias from the team member data and put it as a complete email from the JSON. So this is my own. And I'm using Amazon here just so that we can see the email execute, but realistically, this would be the AnyRetail email. All right, and then it's creating that action for this one. We're gonna wait just a couple minutes here to have this execute fully, but we should see all of these begin to populate in this section here with the 5 aliases that are up here. So let's just wait a few minutes for that. Okay, so we can see that pretty instantaneously it's beginning to generate those. So you can see it's increasing that here at the top. But while that continues to generate, let's just review the calendar event at the bottom, which is in this action step. So this is from myself because this is my QuickSuite account. It's giving me this event title, which I love, Sales Team Weekly Update, Your Turn. Pretty funny. And we're getting that 2-hour block. So it started at 8 a.m. and it's going to go to 10 a.m. It has that start and end date, which all looks correct. Shows the attendees, which is myself again. And then we have the correct formatting of the description that I provided in that edit step. So this all looks good. And then because we do have to submit that action here before it does it automated, we can see that we have to do that for each of these. And so we can go through, check all of them. These ones are not real email addresses, so it might look a little funky. But this is an important note to say that in the future roadmap, there will be an option to just have this automated as well. It's not currently available today, but please know that it is in our roadmap to do so. Okay, so let's just wait for that to finish generating. I'm gonna go back to my first one here and wait for this to send, and then we will check Outlook to make sure that we can see that in there. Okay, so now I see that it's ready to create the calendar event for this first one. We also see that successfully processed everything. So now I'm gonna go ahead and submit this action, and let's go ahead and note the time here. So my local time is 1 minute after the hour, and I'm going to go ahead and wait for this to say it succeeded and check Outlook. So let's just make sure that this sends correctly. And then we'll go ahead and switch over to the Outlook screen. All right, awesome. Okay, so it says the event is created. This is my December 15th calendar, and we see that this was updated today. So let's go ahead and check this here. So it didn't recognize the emoji, but that's okay. This is the exact message that was sent. If I want to change this, I could just maybe take the emoji out in my editor, but it all looks good. So as you can see, that is how a QuickFlow can connect to Outlook.